Emily Dickinson, the great poet, struggled in school. After graduating, she returned home and seemed to be doing nothing with her life, as the neurotypical world would see it. But she loved to write, and in time the world would learn to appreciate her greatness. In 1853, out of school and at home, she wrote, "I wish we were always children. How to grow up, I do not know." She expressed creative freedom from the rules that the adult world took seriously. This is autism at its finest. With her unparalleled gifts of language and impassioned revelry, Dickinson was mapping out the creative domains of imagination. This was her choice based on the, quote, hollowness and awfulness of the world. Do you connect with that, autistic? She was working her seductive powers of language for all they were worth. She had found her gift, and when an autistic finds their gift, the world is treated to greatness. In 1858, she put together a book of her poems, precise and neat. She had her treasure, her life's work. And by 1860, she was a highly productive poet. In the end, it is said that Emily's neighborhood children knew that you would be well supplied. Emily would take care of you. But they knew not to take liberties because she was a creature made of a little different stuff. Emily was always Miss Emily. She was never moody, always buoyant and joyous. And that, my friend, is what the world needs to see of us autistics, exercising our gift and enjoying our joy. In the 1870s, Emily seemed to have hit her stride. It is recorded it was a return after 20 years to fuller participation in the life of the village, but on terms she could control. It's very important that autistics do participate in the community. However, we must do so in ways that manage and ways we can do without compromise. Her terms being as generous as they were non-negotiable. Be true to yourself, autistic, and prosper as only you can. Genius isn't normal. If it were normal, it would be called normal. You are supposed to be different. You are supposed to be a genius in your own way. You're supposed to be gifted. Here's a funny incident. Edward and Emily's brother was unusually determined that Emily should go to church, and she was especially determined that she would not. He commanded her, she begged off, until they were both weary. She saw no further use of talking, so she suddenly disappeared. No one could tell where she was. They hunted high and low and went to church without her. Coming home, she was still unseen, and they began to be much worried, particularly her stern father. Some hours after, Emily was discovered. Quote, "Me rocking in a chair placed in a cellar bulkhead where she had made old Margaret lock her in before church." Does this not sound like the perfect autistic situation? When the family is pushing hard and you just don't want to do it, it is a good lesson. Sometimes after saying our piece, instead of standing there and arguing with insanity, it is best to walk away and solution our problem in our own way and leave the neurotypicals wondering. Emily was very shy about publishing any of her poems in her lifetime. She is regarded as one of the great poets, an autistic that took a different road to success. But her value and contribution to others was recognized. She is an autistic success, not as others might think, but on her own terms. This is the Independent Autistic reminding you, you were born different to make a difference. If you like this content, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.